Hare Krishna, Krishna
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
This is called Hare Krishna Mahamantra. This is not ordinary mantra, this is Mahamantra. Of all the mantras in the Vedas, there are millions of mantras in the Vedas. This mantra is Mahamantra. It is the greatest of all mantras. It is specifically recommended in this age by God Himself. If you want to achieve the perfection of life, if you want to become unlimitedly happy, if you want to become free, if you want to have peace, if you want to have love, if you want to have everything satisfactory and happy in your life, then all you have to do is absorb yourself in chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
And you'll have no problems in your life. So tonight we are reading from Srimad Bagavad-Gita, chapter number 6, text number 30. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Yo mam pashyati sarvatra.
Yo
Mam pashyati sarvatra. Sarvam cha mai pashyati.
Sarvam cha mai pashyati.
Tasyaham na pranashyami.
Tasyaham na pranashyami.
Satchamena pranashyati.
Satchamena pranashyati.
Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada.
Jai Prabhupada.
For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. Purport. A person in Krishna consciousness certainly sees Lord Krishna everywhere, and he sees everything in Krishna. Such a person may appear to see all separate manifestations of the material nature, but in each and every instance he is conscious of Krishna, knowing that everything is a manifestation of Krishna's energy. Nothing can exist without Krishna, and Krishna is the Lord of everything. This is the basic principle of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is the development of love of Krishna, a position transcendental even to material liberation. At this stage of Krishna consciousness, beyond self-realization, the devotee becomes one with Krishna, in the sense that Krishna becomes everything for the devotee, and the devotee becomes full in loving Krishna. An intimate relationship between the Lord and the devotee then exists in that state, or that stage. The living entity can never be annihilated, nor is the personality of Godhead ever out of the sight of the devotee. To merge in Krishna is spiritual annihilation. The devotee takes no such risk. It is stated in the Brahma Samhita 5:30. Premanjana chotito bhakti balochanena santak sadaiva hidayeshu valokayanti yang shamasundaram achintya gunasvarupam govindamadi purusham tamam bhajami. I worship the primeval Lord Govinda, who is always seen by the devotee whose eyes are anointed with a pulp of love. He is seen in his eternal form of Sham Sundar, situated within the heart of the devotee. At this stage, Lord Krishna never disappears from the sight of the devotee, nor does the devotee ever lose sight of the Lord. In the case of a yogi who sees Krishna as Paramatma within the heart, the same applies. Such a yogi turns into a pure devotee and cannot bear to live for a moment without seeing the Lord within himself. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Dada Kamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupa Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatam Vitam Tam Sajiva Sadaitam Zavadutam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Deva Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Sarvaswate Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Vishramine. So this verse is very, very nice verse. For one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me. How would you like to see Krishna everywhere and everything within Krishna? This process of Krishna consciousness will take you there. It will. If you follow this process exactly as Prabhupada is giving it here in his books, then you will in fact come to that state where you can see Krishna everywhere and see everything in Krishna. So how is it possible to see Krishna everywhere and everything in Krishna? Because actually Krishna is everywhere and everything is in Krishna. This is not some artificial imposition on your mind. This is pulling away all the artificialities which are blinding you at the present moment. You understand? At the present moment we are blinded. We have cataracts in our eyes called lust, anger, greed, madness, illusion, and envy. These are blinding us. Because of that we cannot see Krishna. We see the material nature. Of course, the devotee, he also sees the material nature. The pure devotee sees the material nature. But he sees it not independently. He sees it as the manifestation of Krishna's energy, and therefore he fully utilizes it in the service of Krishna 24 hours a day. This is what it means to be Krishna conscious. To always be conscious of Krishna at every second. Wherever you may be, to always be conscious of Krishna. To never see anything as being separate from Krishna, to see everything connected with Krishna. This seeing everything being connected with Krishna is the technique by which you will also be connected with Krishna. Transcendental vision means transcendental transition of your position from material to spiritual. Vision, position, transition. You see? We have to learn this art of how to always see Krishna acting at every minute. Actually, Krishna is always acting. Krishna is not a dead stone. He's not some impersonal energy. He is the supreme loving person, the supreme orchestrator of reality. And we are playing in his symphony. If you get out of tune, you have to go to a different room, the material world. But all you have to do is get back in tune, and then you can go back and resume your original position in the spiritual world. Here in this material world, we're out of tune with Krishna. We're not in tune with Krishna. You see? So we have to get back in tune with Krishna. And then we'll be welcomed back into his transcendental pastimes. Just like in a symphony orchestra, if some instrument is out of tune, and the conductor will not allow that. You see, it will ruin the sound of the symphony. So if you get in tune, you have to leave the room. So we chose to leave the room. But now if we get back in tune, we can go back to the room of Krishna, transcendental spiritual kingdom of the Lord, Padavyoma. We can return to our original position. So what is that tuning process? That's called sadhana bhakti. Sadhana bhakti is taking your consciousness, which is presently out of tune, and tuning it back with the Lord, getting tuned in once again to Krishna. The tuning process, especially in this age, is Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. That is especially the tuning process. So one has to chant the Hare Krishna mantra, one has to hear about Krishna, one has to taste the prasad which has been offered to Krishna. By these activities of purifying your ears, purifying your tongue, your mind will become purified, and in that purified state, you will be able to remember Krishna 24 hours a day. And when you remember Krishna, you're no longer in this material world. When you remember Krishna, because Krishna and his abode are non-different. When you remember Krishna, actually you now become situated once again in your original constitutional position as an eternal inhabitant of Krishna's transcendental kingdom. So simply one has to learn the art, has to master the art of how to always remain absorbed, thinking of Krishna at every minute, and never forgetting Krishna. The only way to do that is to practically engage in Krishna's service. Yat karoshi yadasnasi yodinahosi danasi yat tapashashi kaunteya tat kadushva madarpanam. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer, give away, as well as whatever austerities you may perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering unto me. You have to do that. You have to actually do it, you see. Not that I continue to serve my senses, and I think I will be Krishna conscious. It's not possible. If you want to actually be absorbed in Krishna consciousness, you have to serve Krishna. You have to love Krishna. Love is not just a sentiment. Love is practical. Love means you serve the object of your affection. You say, I love Krishna, but then you smoke cigarettes, you drink beer, you go to McDonald's hamburgers, I love Krishna. No, you don't love Krishna, you just love your tongue. You see. If you really love Krishna, you will always do what pleases Krishna. That's the test. You will always do what pleases Krishna, and you will avoid anything which displeases Krishna. That is real love. You see. If I really love someone, I'll always try to please them in every situation. I will never do something that displeases them. I really love them. So if you truly love Krishna, you'll find out what is pleasing to Krishna, what is displeasing to Krishna. And you do what pleases him, and you avoid what displeases him. Then we can say, yes, you love Krishna. You're sacrificing your material desires to serve the spiritual desires of Krishna. The beauty of this is, actually, that is your real position also. Your true desire is simply to love Krishna. These material desires are not your actual consciousness, they are a covering. You don't actually desire material sense gratification. You really don't. But you've been conditioned to think that you require it by a society which is spinning on the principle of material sense gratification. That's all. Due to conditioning, you are thinking that I require this material sense gratification, but actually you do not. When you revive your original dormant Krishna consciousness, you will find so much happiness and so much satisfaction simply always doing what pleases Krishna. And in no way will you be neglected. Krishna will see that all of your needs are very nicely met without any stress, without any anxiety. As long as we continue to put ourselves in the center, which is an artificial position, we must continue to feel so much stress, so many varieties of mental difficulties will be there as long as we continue to try to put ourselves artificially as the centers of enjoyment. You are not the center of enjoyment. Krishna and only Krishna is the center of enjoyment. So if you will put Krishna back where he belongs, in the center, truly do that, you see, by always doing what is pleasing to Krishna, always avoiding what is displeasing to Krishna, then you will find an amazing awakening of Krishna consciousness within your heart. An amazing new world will open up for you, where you can actually see Krishna at every minute, and see how everything is within Krishna at every minute. And you'll never lose Krishna, and that Krishna will never lose you. You regain that connection with Krishna, where you feel his presence with you at every single minute. You see, that is real Krishna consciousness. So maybe there's some questions now. What is the destruction or destination? What is the destination of someone who meditates on the Brahman effulgence of the Lord? Well, this is described in the Brahma Samhita. Antastukoti shatavatsara sampragyamyo Vayo ratapi manaso munipun So piyasti yat prapapachinyavachitratate govindamani purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord. Only the tip of the toe of his lotus feet is approached by the yogis who aspire after the transcendental and betake themselves to pranayama by filling the respiration, or by the jnanis who try to find out the non-differentiated Brahman by the process of elimination of the mundane extending over thousands of millions of years. Note here that to meditate on Brahman means it's going to take you thousands and millions of years to achieve the perfection of Brahman realization. Thousands and millions of years. How many lifetimes is that? You see? Kali Yuga, for example, we only have another 427,000 years. You'll be going, you'll have to go way beyond even the Kali Yuga into the next Satya Yuga, the next Treta Yuga. You'll still be trying to get realized, you see. We're talking hundreds of millions of years, you see. So it's a very long drawn out process. And even when you get there, you only get to the precincts. You don't actually contact the lotus feet of the Lord. You're still at a distance. You're nearby the lotus feet of the Lord, but you're not actually able to touch them. You have not yet gotten the shelter of the Lord's lotus feet. Therefore, Bhagavatam says, patanti adho. They fall back again to material existence. So after millions of years, you get some temporary position close to the lotus feet of the Lord, a sense of relief from the suffering of material existence, but then because you don't have any opportunity to actually serve the Lord in that position of negating his personality, you come back again to serve material personalities here in the cycle of birth and death. So you're not really liberated. The Bhagavatam says, vimukti maninas. It's liberation of the mind only. You're not even a liberated soul. So it's not really worth it. It's a foolish thing to go after. Who goes to Vaikuntha Loka and who goes to Golok? The pure devotees all go to the spiritual world, either to Vaikuntha or Golok, according to their swarup, what is their constitutional position. Well, Srila Prabhupada reincarnated in the Kali Yuga to save the fallen soul. Why don't you save the fallen soul? Why do you want ask Prabhupada to come back? Why don't you save the fallen soul? Why are you trying to pass your duty on to Srila Prabhupada? That's your duty. In about 40 years' time, nearly all Prabhupada's disciples will have left the material. You figured it out, huh? 40 years will all be dead. You're just waiting? Well, I can tell you, you never know. Because by normal calculations, you're right, but Vibhamangala Thakur lived for hundreds of years in Vrindavan. And it's stated in the Sri Upanishad, if one goes on continuously doing in this work in this way, he can aspire to live for hundreds of years. So it's possible that one can live beyond 100 years. 200 years, 300 years is possible. Although it's not normal, I admit. It could happen. We could see some Prabhupada disciples living for a very long time out of their desire to deliver the fallen soul. It's possible. It may not happen, but it could happen. It's possible. So what is your vision of ISKCON in 40 years from ahead? Well, that's up to you all. My vision, my desire for ISKCON is that ISKCON should take over the world as soon as possible, to be honest with you. I'm a very idealistic person. I think we can do what Prabhupada said we can do. Prabhupada said, become guru and deliver the whole world. I think we can do it. I really do. We just have to stop fighting amongst ourselves, basically. We're still quarreling, jockeying for positions within our society. There's too much politics going on here, you see. If we just take our humble position that, I'm the servant of Guru and Krishna, and my duty is to become a pure devotee and preach to everybody I contact. If everybody takes that mood, then we can take over this whole world in 18 days. That's my vision. Why 40 years? In 18 years, or 18 days, if we really get it together, get off this mental platform, we can take over the whole world in 18 days. That's my vision. So my hope is to see that in 40 years' time, all the high court judges will be wearing tilak. That's my vision. That's my vision. Is it really an offense if onion is consumed in prasadam? Oh yes, it stinks. It has a very offensive odor, and you can't offer it to Krishna. If you offer onions to Krishna, it's a very offensive thing. Don't you dare do such a thing. Is it an offense if initiated devotee goes to Shiva Lai or the Shiva temple? We can go into any temple and offer our obeisances to Lord Shiva is a great devotee. See, I want all the answered ones put somewhere else so I don't get them mixed up. Okay. We can go into any temple and offer our respects to them. They're all great personalities, but it's not that we go there to attend programs and hear from the non-Vaishnavas. How is life if we go back home, back to God? It's simply wonderful. Simply wonderful. What should be the qualities of a devotee? There's 26 qualities listed in the scripture. You can study those 26 qualities. He's very meek, he's very mild, he's very clean, he's very tolerant.
As in Bagavad-Gita, chapter 13.
Chapter 13, the 26 qualities of a devotee. What verse?
13.3, I think.
13 what?
13.3, 13.3.
1333.
13.3.
13.3, okay.
If it's I'm correct, then 13.3.
Let's see if you got it right here. These 26 qualities are very important.
You can find it.
Yeah, you find it. Actually, Prabhupada explains you can judge how you're advancing in Krishna consciousness by how much you have developed these 26 qualities. So we'll find them in a minute. And you can study how you're advancing by how well you're developing all these qualities. So, while she's looking it up, I'll go ahead. You found it? Okay.
8.12.
8.12, right. Well, that's another verse, that's not the 26 qualities. It's another list, but it's also a good list. Humility. There's another list in the Chaitanya Charitamrita.
This is 26.
Another list of 26. Okay, humility, pridelessness, non-violence, tolerance, simplicity, approaching a bona fide spiritual master, cleanliness, steadiness, self-control, renunciation of the objects of sense gratification, absence of false ego, the perception of the evil of birth, death, old age, and disease, detachment, freedom from entanglement with children, wife, home, and the rest, even-mindedness, and amid pleasant and unpleasant events, constant and unalloyed devotion to me. This is Krishna speaking. Aspiring to live in a solitary place, detachment from the general mass of people, accepting the importance of self-realization, and philosophical search for the absolute truth. So that's a nice list. Thank you. I want to get initiated, but I can't wake up at 4 a.m. and I'm not able to do 16 rounds. I only do 5 rounds. Well, you're not ready for initiation then. Actually, it's very easy. I have a very good tip. If you want to chant 16 rounds, there's a really easy way to do it every day. If anyone's having a hard time chanting 16 rounds, here's the easy way to do it every day. You fast every day until you complete 16 rounds. Don't take any prasadam until your rounds are done. I guarantee you'll get those rounds done every day. It's not, if you put chanting more important than eating, because think about it like this. Are you that body, or are you the soul? You're the soul. So chanting is feeding the soul, and eating is feeding the body. So what's more important, feeding the body or feeding the soul? Feeding the soul is more important. So you take your chanting as more important than your eating. If you do that, I guarantee you'll get those rounds done every day. The thought of the day, this is something I published on the internet. You can enroll at www.backtohome.com. I repeat, www.back.home.com. Get on my free e-course, and every day you'll get the thought of the day in your email. So they're quoting my thought for the day. On Saturday, your e-course, you mentioned about the residual karma. What does that mean? We have some karmic residue. In fact, in the beginning, we have tons of karmic residue from previous lifetimes still covering the Atma. By engaging in Krishna consciousness, that residue is gradually cleared away. When you get initiated, it's cleared away 99%. And you just have a little 1% left to work on. So that karmic residue is there from our previous sins. How can only eating prasadam relieve us of this residue of karma? Eating prasadam will free you from sin. Chanting Hare Krishna will free you from sin. Hearing the teachings of Krishna will free you. Engaging in devotional service, bowing down to the deities, bowing down to the spiritual master, taking darshan of the deities, all of these activities, and many more such activities, worshipping Tulsi Devi, etc. These activities will purify you of this residual karma which is sitting in your heart at the present time. More and more until you finally become completely clean, at which time you become a pure devotee and you actually enter into the association of Krishna, even if you're still in this material world. What are the characteristics of a liberated soul? How to differentiate between a liberated soul and a self-realized soul. A self-realized soul understands that he's not his body, and a liberated soul, he's always thinking of Krishna at every minute. He's a higher level. What is recommended speed to chant our rounds early in the morning? Prabhupada set aside as a standard thing 2 hours. That would be 7.5 minutes per round. Is a good gauge. And Prabhupada also said that when you become experienced, you can chant around in 5 minutes. So there's really no set speed. It's just a matter of how nicely you can absorb yourself in the sound vibrations. Prabhupada explains that every syllable must be clearly chanted and heard. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram, Hare Hare. For some know to chant very slow in the beginning, but after one's chanting for some years, he may find that he can chant very fast and hear and chant every syllable. Because the more syllables you get in, the more you make advancement. So he can chant some extra rounds in the same amount of time and get even more benefit. So that one can speed up one's chanting. It's not that you have to chant slow, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You don't have to chant slow. You can hear the japa take, Prabhupada's chanting very fast. The main thing is, whatever speed, doesn't matter, but you simply have to distinctly hear and chant every syllable. That's what matters. Can you give a 2-day seminar during your next visit to Mauritius on the process of devotional service? If there's enough interest, sure. What advice can you give for grihastas when both persons are working? Why both persons should work? Actually, that's not the Vedic system. The Vedic system is the wife should be at home, cooking, cleaning, making a nice atmosphere in the home. Now, if there's an emergency situation, maybe the wife can work, but it's not the standard. The standard is only the husband works. But if you're in a situation where you're not able to do that, it's very difficult. And no cooperation between the husband and wife. Wife is making all the efforts, but this is somebody talking about their own situation now. The husband is not showing any interest in giving a helping hand. Actually, the husband should let you stay at home. Really. He should go out and earn the money, and you won't have to worry about a helping hand. You should be freed up to make a nice atmosphere in the home, nice prasadam, a nice clean home, everything very first class, everything very nice in the home. That's what the husband should do. He shouldn't force you to go out and work. When I got married, I didn't have much money. We were not wealthy people. I never sent my wife to work a job. My wife, to me, this is my wife, she's a goddess. I couldn't think about sending her out to work with some karmi people. I couldn't conceive of it. It's inconceivable to me. How can I send out this goddess to work with these karmi people? It didn't make sense. I just couldn't, it was intolerable to me. I couldn't stand the idea. Now later on when I started a business, I had a travel business. She was the best, she was better than me in the business. And so it was, when I had a business, then she's working with me, then I had no problem. I could not stand sending her to work with some karmi people. I could never tolerate such an idea. I never would do that. You see? So I recommend the best thing is the husband work very hard, let the wife stay home and make a wonderful Krishna conscious atmosphere in the home. That's the ideal thing. And if that's not there, you may just tolerate it. What can I say? Chant Hare Krishna, take shelter of the holy name, and beg Krishna to help you be Krishna conscious in the midst of a difficult situation. What is your instruction as parents, initiated parents, who wish to see their children initiated as well? Well, you have to track them by your own enlivenment, your own enthusiasm. Not that you have to push them. They should be inspired to see how blissful you are being an initiated disciple, how much nectar you're tasting by having a guru. They should be envious. When can I have a guru? When can I get initiated? Not that, now you have to get initiated, like I'm being punished or something. It should be, wow, when can I want a guru? It should be a thing that they look forward to and they anchor for. Why have different learned men given different right path? Dayanand Gautama Buddha Guru Nanak. Well, Buddha was Krishna himself, and he had a specific mission to. Prabhupada said he engaged in transcendental cheating to get the people to stop killing the cows. He taught a philosophy to deny the Vedas because they were using the Vedas, twisting the Vedic wisdom to justify cow killing. So they were too dull to understand the proper meaning of the Vedic teaching. So he just denied the Vedas, and he taught them ahimsa, non-violence. As far as others, there are different levels of realization, you see. Well, Guru Nanak, he tried to unify the Hindus and the Muslims, something that would appeal to both. But he didn't understand the Lord Chaitanya's method, you see. He was lacking in that understanding. Lord Chaitanya's method is not, in other words, the concept of Hindu and Muslim is a material conception. Why you try to bring another way to unite them with the material conception? You have to go beyond both conceptions. That's the real understanding. That's what Lord Chaitanya's movement is doing. Sarvapadi vinirmuktam tatpadat nirmalam rishikena rishikesha sevanam bhakta ruchate. Give up all material designations. That's the first point. You're not a Hindu, you're not a Muslim, you're not a Christian, you're not a Jew, you're not a Sikh, you're not a Jain, you're not this, you're not that. You have to understand you're the eternal spiritual being, you see. That is the great teaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his followers, the Goswamis. When a person or even an animal is buried after their death, some of them remain intact. Some of them, no, not them. Their bodies, not them. They don't rot, and people start praying to them as God. Can you please tell why some bodies when buried don't rot? They do all rot eventually. Eventually they will rot. There was some disciples, their guru, he died, but they thought he was in samadhi for some days, but then the body started smelling badly, and instead he left his body. So eventually every body will rot. There's no bodies that don't rot. There's a devotee whose husband is not practicing Krishna consciousness. Is it right for the wife to continue remaining Krishna conscious? Or will it be difficult for her spiritual life? It is difficult, but Prabhupada explains the wife is not obliged to follow a non-devotee husband and remain a non-devotee. He even says the wife can be the guru of the husband. And if she is more Krishna conscious, she becomes the guru, and she should train him how to become Krishna conscious. It's a letter to my god sister Shalavati. Prabhupada explains that. It's in the Veda base. You can read the letter. Is it wrong to feel that making progress is it wrong to feel that you are making progress in spiritual life? It's wrong if you don't feel you're making progress. If you don't feel you're making progress, you're doing something wrong. This is confirmed in the Bhagavatam. Bhakti pareshanu bhavro varaktir yanjatchashai shatraka ekakala prapadyamanashya tasnana shush pushti tushti pushti chadpo nagasam. Devotion, direct experience of the Lord, and detachment from all material things occurs simultaneously from one who is advancing on the path of Krishna Bhakti, just as nourishment, eradication of hunger, and satisfaction of the tongue occur increasingly with each bite from one who is engaged in eating. So just as in eating you feel your hunger is going away, you're getting nourished, you're becoming jolly and satisfied by your prasadam taking, in the same way you should feel how you're advancing in Krishna consciousness, how you're becoming more happy, more loving, more intelligent. All these things you should be feeling. If you're not, you're doing something wrong. If you don't feel that you're advancing, you are doing something wrong. You have to find out what you're doing wrong, what offenses you're committing, that you're not going forward. Does that mean you think, oh, now I'm great? Oh yeah, now I'm great. No. The more you're advanced, the more you feel humble. The more you feel very lowly and humble, the more you're advancing in Krishna consciousness. Can we change our karma? Yes. You just chant Hare Krishna. You change your karma. You get free from your karma. I like to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, the Krishna book. Krishna books, listen, all the classes of Maharajas, Sannyasis, but unfortunately I can't remember all the words spoken by them. I can remember only a few of them. What is the solution of remembering that? All that I read and listen. Get a nice an MP3 player is a good solution. You would get copies of lectures that really enlivened you and play them again and again and again and again and again. I have different recordings of Prabhupada I've heard many again and again and again and again. I love them so much, I just keep listening to them again and again and again. You see. So the key is repetition. You hear again and again. Get recordings and hear again and again and again. That will help you. Because our brains are very weak. Our memory power is very weak due to the influence of Kali. But so you have to work it. You have to really practice and work hard to remember things. But if you do, the good news is that if you practice the art of remembering things, you may think, well, I don't want to try to remember too many things because then my brain will get filled up, I won't have room for any more. No, it's not like that. The more you remember things, the more you become able to remember even more things. That's the capacity how your brain works. Don't think, well, I don't want to learn too many verses because then I'll forget them. No, the more you practice the art of memorization, the easier it gets to memorize things. Just like the more you lift weights, the stronger you get. And you lift more weights. So practice the art of remembering as much as you possibly can. Just like maybe you and your wife go to hear a lecture, then you're driving home, talk about what you remember from the lecture, discuss it between yourselves. What you heard in the lecture, for example. Discuss it back and forth. Well, I remember he said this, he said that. You see, in this way, practice remembering things that you've heard. Read a purport. You and your wife, or just by yourself, sit down and read a purport, and then close the book and see what you can remember from what you just read. And write it down. Realizations you just got. And this way you can train your brain how to retain this knowledge, you see. You have to work it, you got to exercise it. Prabhupada said, write your realizations. He encouraged every day you write realizations. If you will keep a journal and just write down every day, what realizations have you gotten today? That would be an incredible thing to help you remember things. Just keep a journal, a notebook. And every day you write down what you realized about Krishna consciousness today, what you've learned about Krishna today, what you've experienced today to help you become more Krishna conscious, what difficulties you had that you want to overcome, what faults have you seen in yourself, in this way you can introspectively analyze yourself and advance very nicely in this way. What is the solution of remembering all that I read and listen to? I am fond of reading and listening all the words spoken of Krishna, but I would like to talk about what I read. How can I do that? The best thing is memorize some verses. I mean, that's when you really got something authoritative to say, you know. Just like tonight over dinner, or actually not dinner, we just took a little snack. I had some puffies and some hot dog. My wife took a little sabji and a little chapati. Not a big dinner. We had a little snack tonight before we came. So we'd go to bed as soon as we get home. But we were talking some verses. In fact, I was working on this. I was actually trying to remember. I asked my wife, how does that verse go? You know, the one where you see Krishna and everything in Krishna. How does it begin? And she was trying to remember, and then finally she came up with the first line, and then when I got the first line, I could get it, you know. So in this way, I tried to pull out several verses that I've learned in the past. Vasoham apsukonteya prabhashmi. So we were just, instead of just talking some gossip, we were talking about verses over prasadam, you see. So what could be a better subject matter than talk about the words of Krishna? You see. What could be a better subject matter? Get some give yourself a list of verses that you're responsible to know and write, and then memorize those verses and then recite them regularly, just like I decided to learn the Brahma Samhita verses. And I recite them every day. It's very wonderful. English and the Sanskrit both. It's very nice. Sometimes I have, even in my iPhone, I have this little app where you can pick a random number. The verses are 529 through 555, so I set the app where I can just press it. It gives me a random number between 29 and 55. You see, I go boop, and it says 33, and they go okay, 33. And then I recite verse 33, and I hit it again. It says 54. So then I do, I do it again. It says 20. It says 31. Okay, and I hit it again. It says 49. So I do that one. In this way, just working the brain. You see. So I can have, when I give a lecture, the verses at the tip of the tongue. Sometimes I have to have her help. Sometimes I can't get it, But I'm trying to improve, always trying to improve my ability to pull verses just like that. Whenever I need a verse, book, there it is. 529, 538 that we did tonight. Premanjana Charita 537. You see, Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratabhavata Mustavirya Eva Nirupataya Kalavi. In this way, to be able to have the verses, it's very powerful. When you're driving to work in the traffic, you can be quoting, saying your verses, Premanjana Charita Bhakti Valochanena Kupu. The red light won't bother you, the traffic jam won't bother you,
So
you'll be in ecstasy,
It doesn't bother them, they're conditioned to this.
Huh?
They are used to it, so then it doesn't bother them.
Okay. But people in America, the traffic in America is so bad, there's a disease called road rage. Sometimes people take a gun and kill somebody in the traffic in the U.S. It's so bad. I don't know if they have road rage here, but in the U.S. they have road rage, it's called. They flip out, they can actually shoot somebody dead because they passed them on the road or something like that.
They have different type of road
Huh?
rage. They have different type of road rage. We saw the other day.
I see, I wasn't in the car. So anyway, it's fun. Take it up, give yourself a list of verses. Everybody should have even if it's just 2 or 3, even the kids. Everybody should have their shopping list of verses. If you knew 5 verses, what verses would you like to know? Write your list of 5 verses and then memorize it. And then when they're sitting around with not knowing what to talk about, you can just talk about your verses. Talk with your family members, with your friends. Just talk about your verses. And this way, the conversations will take off to a very high level, you see. It's like I've named my disciple here, Krishna Katha. Now he has to be a good example of this. Always engaging in Krishna Katha. And encouraging everyone by his example to always be talking about Krishna. When I was a brahmachari, I had one godbrother, Bhava-Bhuti Prabhu. We decided that we would be Krishna Katha buddies. And when everybody else was just talking gossip, we would sit together during prasad and talk right out of the books. It was great. Like Krishna Katha buddy, Bhava-Bhuti Prabhu. So yeah, you have to really get into this Krishna Katha. Study these books, learn verses, talk about what's in the books. And I guarantee you it will elevate your consciousness completely beyond this material existence. You'll be in bliss. So now we have, now I did mention my e-course, the Ultimate Self-Realization course, it's called. I've been doing this since the year 2003, and this is going like, 13 years? 12 years, yeah. Going on 13 soon. And every day they ask questions, many, many questions. So I've taken the cream of the crop of the questions and the answers that have been given to those questions. And it's been put into this, my disciples actually put it together. And it's broken down into different subject matters. There's an index, like what is Krishna consciousness? Transmigration of the soul, living in the material world, our religion, world religions, universal harmony. There's different subjects, different topics, and within that topic there are many different questions and answers. So this is a very good, for preaching, this is a very valuable tool to teach you how to answer all kinds of questions that people may ask of you, or other devotees may sometimes ask, your children may ask you. It's a very valuable resource to help you answer questions, because all it is questions and how to answer them. So we only have a few copies left, and we brought them in the suitcase with us on the airplane. There's a very limited supply, and so it's first come, first served. We have a limited supply. And anybody who takes a book, you give me your name and I'll write down, I'll give you a special blessing in your name in your book. So we'll stop here, and we thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Go to Premanandi. We already got one. See, this is for Kisan.